Good evening, Bulldog fans, and welcome back to another installment of In the Red Zone with Bulldog head football coach Ryan Taylor. I'm your host, Richie Cottrell. Coach, welcome back.
Yes, sir. Good to see you again.
I've got some fun historical facts to share with you about Navarro College football. Navarro opened its doors in 1946, and that's the same year football began for the Bulldogs. We are playing our 78th year of football here at Navarro. Another significant piece of that, last Saturday's game was game number 800 for the Bulldogs. A big part also was a victory. That was victory number 500 for the Bulldog program. Our first victory came at our first game. Ken Clark was the head football coach. We got cleats 2 days before the game started, and the victory was over the Texas Lutheran junior varsity team here in Corsicana. Now, Coach, 500th victory. It's a big win.
That's a lot of ball games.
That's a lot of ball games there. So I'll give you a quarter-by-quarter synopsis of the game, and then we'll give Coach an opportunity to kick in and talk about his overall perspective of how he felt the game went. We were scoreless after the first quarter, 0-0. Everybody's feeling each other out, trying to get a feel for the game with above probably 120 degrees out there on the field. It was a hot day.
It was warm.
It was. It sure was. Second quarter, NEO started the scoring, but Navarro became very explosive and finished it with a 27-point run. So at halftime, the Bulldogs were ahead 27-7. Third quarter, we come back out. They've been in the AC trying to get acclimated. Bulldogs scored another 7 points, so there's a 34-7 deficit there the Norsemen from northeastern Oklahoma had to face. Fourth quarter was a draw, 14-14. So at the end of the afternoon, it was a 48-21 win for the Bulldogs in their first conference win of the 2024 season. So after all that, Coach, now let's hear the coach speak and tell me how you felt about the overall game.
Well, I thought it was a great win. It's always good to start off the year 2-0, especially 1-0 in conference play like you mentioned. I thought the guys played really well. I thought everybody played that we suited up on the sideline. I thought we had great participation. I thought the guys played well when the number was called. It was good to see guys get into the game that normally have smaller roles in the game. So that's always good seeing those 2s and 3s play a lot of ball game. And I thought the big play that really sparked us was the kickoff return in the second quarter with Tim Burns. That was a really special play for him going up their sideline. It was about an 85 to 90-yard return. Our defense scored on a scoop and score on a fumble return. So we scored in all 3 phases. And I think if you do that, you have a really decent chance to win the ball game. I thought the things that we spoke about last week, we really did that and put a premises on that this week. So I was really proud of the guys. But we have a great challenge ahead of us this week. I think that we've had a great week of practice. So I'm excited about what tonight brings.
Well, you saw a whole lot just on that one play that you talk about Tim had on the kickoff return. His athletic ability, his ability to run after the catch, so to speak, it was very, very impressive. And the overall game was really impressive. And it was good that you were able to get a lot of the players in, and you probably needed to a certain degree, just to give the players that are usually out on the field the whole game a chance to just, rehydrate and gather themselves, to be able to go out and play in that.
For sure, it was very, very, very hot conditions. I'm very thankful that we got a 7 p.m. kickoff tonight. I think that's really crucial because that did play some major elements in our game plan. And we knew we had to play a lot of guys, but like I said, it was really good to see some of those younger guys step up and really make some plays when their name was called. So it was good to see. So it's always good to have those guys play. It helps the whole team morale. So.
I totally believe it. It was good to see that as well. So let's talk about some offensive and defensive performances here. Offensively, you ran 42 plays, 18 of those were pass, 24 were rushing. All three quarterbacks got to play, but you started off with Ryan Shackleton. He completed passes for 51 total yards. He had 2 TDs and an interception. And then Mason Shorb came in. He had 71 yards passing for 1 TD. Just give us an overall perspective on how you felt your quarterbacks played.
I thought they both played well. I thought they managed the game. That's a big thing in our offense. I think both of them got a really good feel of what we're doing. I will add that we did play a Parker Thompson. He came in and played 2 series in the fourth quarter to show us what he could do as a young quarterback. But Ryan and Mason are really doing a good job right now managing the offense, and they both have a really good feel of what we're doing.
And it showed, how sometimes you play multiple quarterbacks. Sometimes the offense just sputters with different guys, but, I never felt like that was the case at any point in time during the game, whether Ryan was in there or Mason was in there, for that matter, Parker. Mm-hmm. It didn't matter what quarterback was in there. The offense still functioned and was very productive.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think you got to, just always remain calm and never be too high and never be too low.
That's right. That's right. Running back-wise, Clay Thevenin had 7 attempts for 50 yards. D.T. McCoy had 3 attempts for 56 yards and a touchdown. And Deshaun Brundage had 5 attempts for 30 yards and a TD. He played a number of running backs in this game.
Man, I'll tell you what, that's a kind of a 3-headed monster back there. It's a really good group of guys. Those 3 guys really come to work every day. As far as their preparation, they do a really good job with that. They're a really good group to be around, too. So it's really good to see all of them involved.
They seem like they've got a lot of energy about themselves, and it would be fun to be around those guys. Receiving, you had 9 different players that had a catch in the game last week. Tim Burns led with 3 catches for 48 yards, a touchdown. You mentioned the huge kickoff return for a touchdown. Micah Simpson had 2 catches for 31 yards and a touchdown, and Braylon Finney had 2 catches for 20 yards and a touchdown. Overall, distributing the ball to a number of receivers is a good way to have a successful offense.
Yes, sir. That's actually, I believe, was our strength coming into this season. Just because of the amount of returners that played last season that are back again for their sophomore years, and the guys that we redshirted last year that are here with us for their, for the redshirt freshman year, and the transfers that we brought in. And I think that's one of our strong pieces on offense because of the depth, and it just got, it just shows you right there. I mean, there's a lot of hands involved, so that's always good to see. It's always good for the competition of that group. But I think it's it's a special group. Coach Hall does a great job with them.
Well, and we're not going to disrespect your former position, and truly, in my opinion, the game's won with your defensive and offensive front, the big men. So give me just your overall review of how your offensive line played.
Well, like I said, we're kind of the unsung heroes up front. Mm-hmm. Our name never gets in the paper really much, so it's always good for us to just go up and always just do our job and stay steady. But I think those guys are protecting the quarterback right now, and we're establishing a run. And I mean, it's always a group that we always got to continue to improve. But it's a really good group to be around. It's a good group to go to work with every day as well. So I'm just excited about our growth going forward and the challenge that's ahead this week. Just with all it presents. So I'm excited about it.
Well, you've got a whole different dynamic with the skill players. Mm-hmm. They're a whole different group of people. And then when you get down in the trenches, those 5 guys, 10 guys, 11 guys, however many offensive linemen you have and rotate in, that's a whole different dynamic too, isn't it?
It is, man. It's a good group.
And it shows because I think they play very, very well together. Now let's talk defensively. NEO had 73 offensive plays. 24 of those plays were pass and 49 were rush. We'll talk about a lot more people this week than we did last week because there were a lot of big plays and big things that happened. We'll talk about the leading tackler first, and we talked about him last week. Aubrey Smith at linebacker had 13 tackles, a sack, and a tackle for a loss. Then J.P. Patterson, an outside linebacker, shows with 9 tackles and an interception. Linebacker Julio Dominguez had 9 tackles. Keandre Lewis at safety had 8 tackles. At DB, Mumu, we'll call him Mumu, had an interception. He plays safety and corner. You and I talked about that before. At defensive end, Torian Crawford had 2 tackles for a loss. Defensive end, Connor Kerrigan had 2 tackles for a loss. Defensive end, Jacoby Brass had a sack and a tackle for a loss. And you mentioned the blocked kick, scoop and score. That was by linebacker Aaron Bell. So overall defensively, you ought to feel pretty good about the way the defense played and how they, to be honest with you, I felt like they controlled the game as well.
I think any good defense is a team defense. I think there's always a lot of hats involved, and I know I kind of sound repetitive on this, but there was a lot of guys who played on that side of the ball as well. I mean, it was a lot that played into the elements of that being part of the game plan. We knew we had to roll a lot of guys in, but they, speaking on NEO's offense, did a really good job really managing on offense and controlling the clock. So they were able to get some first downs and run the football and kind of create the possession game early off in the game. So there was a lot of guys that played, but there was a lot of productivity too. So I was really pleased with that. Aubrey Smith, our inside linebacker, continues to have another great week. It's going to be expected of him again this week. He's got to play well. Mumu had a great, had a phenomenal, phenomenal play on the interception. And I mean, he's got to play well again this week too. So it's there's a whole bunch of hats that I can name, but it's a good group over there. Coach Giat's doing a good job over there as well. Coach Gibson, and Coach Jay and Coach Sheehan, they're all just, just doing a good job getting those guys prepared, just every week. So it's a good group too.
And like you said, NEO established a ball control offense, but it's easy to do that when Navarro's offense is scoring. We're getting a big play. NEO scores, we get the kickoff return, so our offense doesn't see the field. So then here comes NEO's offense back on the field, but they never gave up those big plays. They never gave up plays that changed the momentum of the game at any point in any time. And I just felt like they responded very well. I want to say NEO's third down percentage, conversion percentage was only like maybe 28, 29% in the game. So I truly, even though it felt like, good gosh, NEO's really controlling the game, I don't feel like they did because the defense, I think, really came through.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I thought they did a good job getting off the field when they needed to.
Yep, and gave the explosive Bulldog offense a chance to make things happen. All right, so there's our perspective and overview of the big conference win over NEO last week. We're going to start our conversations about the Kilgore Rangers that we're facing tonight. But first, got some more fun facts for you. I want to share these with you. Tonight's game, the Bulldogs are ranked number 6 nationally, and the Kilgore Rangers are ranked number 5th nationally. Now, Navarro and Kilgore are 2 of 11 Texas colleges that are still undefeated at this point in time in the season. That list of undefeated teams includes the University of Texas, Texas Wesleyan, Southwestern University in Georgetown, East Texas Baptist, Hardin-Simmons, Texas Lutheran that we mentioned earlier, Texas College, Nelson College that we all know as Southwestern Assemblies of God out of Waxahachie, and Blinn College. So that's a very unique situation, good company to be around and a good situation to be in as we move into a huge, huge conference game with Kilgore. So, Coach, just give us an overview of what we expect to see from Kilgore.
Well, I'll tell you what the first thing is I know there's 2 teams on that list you just mentioned that are here, tonight and next week. So I know we got our hands full. We got Kilgore this week. We got Blinn next week over there. We're down there in Brenham. So it's going to be exciting. Tonight I'm expecting a great football game. I'm excited about just the preparation that we've put in. I'm excited to see the guys go to work tonight and go put it all on the line. We've talked about it all week as a heavyweight boxing match because that's what it is. And it's going to be a lot of good football players on the field at the same time. And the team that does not commit the most penalties and that does not turn the ball over is going to be the team winning. And that's the ultimate focus of what we got going on right now. And I think if we play well and just do our job, then it's going to be, in our favor at the end. But if we don't do those things, I mean, it'll be a struggle because they're a good ball team. So, I mean, they deserve the ranking that they have right now, but I think we too do.
Yeah.
But this is why you go play the games, and this is why you come to a place like Navarro to go, put yourself out there into a setting like it is going to be tonight. There's going to be a lot of coaches at the game on the sidelines, and it's going to be a big night. So I'm excited about what we got.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned earlier when we gave the overview of the NEO game, all three phases of the Bulldog football program really kicked in and showed how strong and capable they are. And then you also mentioned now, there's no need to have turnovers because those could be momentum swingers or game changers in any kind of way. Are there any other maybe specific type things that will give you an edge and give you a chance to come out on the winning end after tonight's game?
I think big games are kind of sways of momentum. You got to be able to weather the storm of the momentum, especially early. We can't go play like Superman. We just got to go play and do your job. And I think that's kind of what, how our approach has been, all the way up to this point. And there's no need to go change who we are. We just got to go play our brand of football. Go trust, our coaching, go trust our technique, and we'll be fine. I think we've got a great football team. I think we've got the right pieces, but we've got to continue to improve, and we've got to continue to play with a chip on our shoulder. And I think that's the challenge as you go through this thing. It's just like we talked about last week, climbing a mountain. There's highs and lows in that thing, and it's all about weathering that. Always understanding that adversity is going to come. At some point in the game, they're going to make a play, and we got to go on to the next one. And I think it's just limiting those big plays and winning the turnovers and the penalty war on that, and not playing just outside of who we are.
Yeah.
And I think if we can do that, we'll be fine.
And being calm, like
That's
you
it.
talked about,
That's
coming
it.
in and
That's
being
it.
calm.
That's it.
So, all right, so there's your little overview and a synopsis of tonight's game. So let's talk Southwest Junior College Football Conference standings at this time. We've got three teams tied for the top spot. Each team is 1-0 in conference play. Your number 6 Navarro Bulldogs are there with number 5 Kilgore and Tyler. Navarro and Kilgore are both 2-0 overall. Tyler is 1-2 overall. Our second place group is at no wins, no losses in conference play. They have yet to play a conference game, but they're playing that game today. That's Blinn and Cisco. Blinn is 1-0, as we talked about earlier, one of the undefeated Texas College teams, and then Cisco is no wins and 1 loss overall. Our bottom three, we have number 10, Trinity Valley at 0-1. We have New Mexico Military at 0-1, and we have NEO at 0-1. Trinity Valley is 1-1 overall. New Mexico Military is 1-2, and NEO is 1-2. Now the rest of the conference schedule today looks like this. Blinn is at Roswell, New Mexico, to take on New Mexico Military Institute, and Trinity Valley is at Cisco to play the Wranglers. Byes today are at NEO and at Tyler. Coach, as I talk about those standings right there, some things will change, a whole lot more each and every game. Those standings are going to be moving around. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. How do you feel about where we stand initially as we kick off this second game?
Well, I'll start off with this. We mentioned it last week. Tyler upset Trinity Valley last week in overtime, and I remember we mentioned them last. And
yes.
I'll tell you this, it's just week in and week out. You never know. You got to be consistent. Like we just spoke about our approach to Kilgore tonight. I think all those games, there is no telling. It's going to be tough for Trinity Valley out at Cisco. Trust me, I know all about that place. you know, and it's going to be tough for Blinn going out to Roswell, New Mexico. It's it's those two places are tough getting wins at, and you know, you better strap up and do your job, and you know, we'll just play at a high level. And I think it's exciting. You know, I love this conference. I think it's great football top end, and you know, from the top all the way to the bottom. So, I'm just excited to see how the race unfolds, man. But you got to take it 1 week at a time. It is a 1 week season, you know, and nothing else matters. And you know, you can't look down the road. You got to look what's right in front of you. You damn sure can't look in that rearview mirror. So, so that's what we got. But I'm excited about tonight, though.
It is, and everybody ought to be excited about tonight. We've got a great football game in store ahead of you here in just a few minutes. On behalf of Coach Ryan Taylor, I'm your host, Richie Cottrell, and I appreciate you joining us tonight and in the red zone before this huge conference game with your number 6 Navarro College Bulldogs taking on the number 5 Kilgore Rangers. If you have an opportunity, come on out and watch the game. The sun will be down. The press box will have shade over the home side, so the temperature will be very, very comfortable to come out and watch a big-time college game in the junior college rankings here, and you can't miss it. If not, stay tuned to Scott Batts and his broadcast. On behalf of Jonathan Seaton and everything he does, sound, video, production, you name it, he does it behind the scenes. And Coach Ryan Taylor, your head football coach of the Navarro Bulldogs. This is Richie Cottrell wishing you the best. Enjoy this college football game and go Bulldogs.